I think the American dream is an idea of possibility and reinvention, which applies to individual people who can make it as tangible as I want to have a bigger house, I want to have a new car, I want a lawnmower, or whatever, at different stages in American evolution. I went to China in 2006 trying to answer the question of the Chinese dream, and I ended up feeling that for the moment, really the only Chinese dream that mattered was the accumulation of individual dreams, that people there within the living memory of their families have been through so much hardship and privation that the simple comforts of being able to educate your children, of being able to see the older generations age in relative security, and just being able to have the bourgeois predictability of life. Bourgeois, a strange term for Chinese communist China, but I apply it here. I think that is the dream of the moment. In the longer run, as those material desires are more and more predictably satisfied, I think other sorts of national ambitions and dreams may present themselves. But right now I ended up thinking that 1 billion people having a better life is a sufficient Chinese dream. The harsh reality of being a dissident in any oppressive society that creates dissidents is they have chosen a hard road. If they stay in their homeland, they know there is the reality of persecution and the hope of influence in that homeland. If they leave their homeland, there is the certainty of diminished influence. You can probably think of exceptions through the panorama of human history, but if, for example, Martin Luther King had gone to Paris, he would not have had the same influence he did in the United States. If Nelson Mandela had fled Robben Island and instead been in India, as opposed to being in prison in South Africa, he wouldn't have had the influence. And most Chinese dissidents have had less influence in China when their personal prospects become better by going overseas. So I think it is of the difficult choices for Mr. Chan and his family, they personally are better off by being outside of China. And now the question will be how the causes he cared about in China can be maintained. I think when it comes to the Chinese government's handling of the Cheng Guangcheng situation, they're showing increasing sophistication / cynicism, recognizing that from the point of view of the Chinese Communist government, the least desirable outcome is to have Mr. Chan or people like him stay in China and remain the focus of international attention and human rights pressure and all the rest. They have shown the maturity of recognizing that they can serve their own interest in addition to his family's immediate interest by getting him off the stage. I think the situation with Bo Xilai is in a way a much more problematic one for the Chinese government, and it's a newer one than the Chun case, because over the past several decades there obviously have been dissidents within the Chinese system who have often sought refuge internationally. The idea that as a country has had such economic success that its political system and the transition of governance is still so non-transparent, that you had somebody who was within expectation of being, a very, very senior governmental official who suddenly is brought down in this way, and the lid is apparently ripped off a variety of other non-transparent situations. I think this is a bigger long-term challenge for the government in finding ways to become more obviously to its own people transparent and accountable as the government makes the decisions it will need to make in the years ahead.